Circa 3200 to 2350 BC, also spelled as shahre-sukhte and shahre-sukhte, is an archaeological site of a sizable Bronze Age urban settlement, associated with the Helmand culture. The reasons for the unexpected rise and fall of the city are still wrapped in mystery. Artifacts recovered from the city demonstrate a peculiar incongruity with nearby civilizations of the time, and it has been speculated that shahre-sukhte might ultimately provide concrete evidence of a civilization east of prehistoric Persia that was independent of ancient Mesopotamia. The shahre-sukhte civilization flourished between 3200 and 2350 BC, and may have coincided with first phase of the great flourishing Indus Valley civilization, periods 3 and 4 of shahre-sukhte, and the last part of Mundagok period 4 are contemporary to mature Harappan 3A and part of mature Harappan 3B. The Helmand and Jiroft cultures are closely related as well. The Helmand culture of western Afghanistan was a Bronze Age culture of the 3rd millennium BC. Scholars link it with the shahre-sukhte, Mundagok, and Bampur sites. The Jiroft culture flourished in the eastern Iran, and the Helmand culture in western Afghanistan at the same time. In fact, they may represent the same cultural area. Shahdad is another extensive site that is being excavated and is related. Some 900 Bronze Age sites have been documented in the Sistan Basin, the desert area between Afghanistan and Pakistan. On the other hand, the Mayrigar culture flourished far earlier. An earthen goblet found at the site and dated to circa 3178 BC depicts what some archaeologists consider to be the earliest known animation, and the date places the artifact in period I, the earliest period in the development and flourishing of the shahre-sukhte culture. The earliest known artificial eyeball was discovered in the burial of a woman at the site by archaeologists in December 2006. 24, it has a hemispherical form and a diameter of just more than 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch. It consists of very light material, probably bitumen paste. The surface of the artificial eye is covered with a thin layer of gold, engraved with a central circle, representing the iris, and gold lines patterned like sun rays. The woman whose remains were found with the artificial eye was 1.82 meters tall, 6 feet. Much taller than typical women of her time. Tiny holes are drilled on both sides of the eye, through which a golden thread would have been drawn in order to hold the eyeball in place. Since microscopic research has shown that the eye socket showed clear imprints of the golden thread, the eyeball must have been worn throughout her lifetime. The woman's skeleton has been dated to between 2900 and 2800 BC. The oldest known tables game with dice and 60 playing pieces, as well as caraway seeds, together with numerous metallurgical finds, for example slag and crucible pieces, are among the finds which have been unearthed by archaeological excavations from this site. A human skull found at the site indicates the practice of brain surgery. A unique marble cup was found at the site on December 29, 2014. A Bronze Age piece of leather adorned with drawings was discovered at the site in January 2015. During period I, shahre-sukhte already shows close connections with the sites in southern Turkmenistan, with the Kandahar region of Afghanistan, the Quetta Valley, and the Bampur Valley in Iran. Also, there are connections with the Proto-Elamite cities of Khuzestan and Fars. Around 3000 BC, Potters in shahre Sukhte reproduced ceramic styles from distant Turkmenistan, located 750 kilometers to the north, and other ceramics were imported from the Pakistani Kechmakran, Iranian Balochistan area, located around 400 to 500 kilometers to the south, and ceramics from the Mundagok, Kandahar, region in Afghanistan, around 400 kilometers to the east, were also imported. 6. Recent excavations by Enrico Ascalone, in Area 33 of shahre Sukhte, show that the so-called house of the architect and the eastern building belong to a layer radiocarbon dated from 3000 to 2850 BC. Pottery during this period, in phases 10, 9, and 8, typically exhibits light paste colors for the body and rich decorations very similar to those found on ceramics from Mundagok III and Kuwait from Balochistan. During period 2, shahre Sukhte was also in contact with the pre-Harappan centers of the Indus Valley, and the contacts with the Bampur Valley continued. The ruins of the building called House of the Courts was radiocarbon dated by archaeologist Ascalone to 2850 to 2620 BC, and the next layer 2 was considered by him as a squatter occupation in Area 33, which he radiocarbon dated to 2620 to 2600 BC. But, as per archaeologist Sagiati, the whole site of shahre Sukhte reached in this period almost 80 hectares. It seems likely that contacts with Mundagok were close in this period and that lapis lazuli arrived in shahre Sukhte from mines of Badakhshan moving through Mundagok, and the relations of both settlements made possible to scholars to speak of a Helmand civilization. Around 2700 BC, at the end of Phase 7, most of the city was destroyed by a fire, particularly the eastern residential area, and the central quarters showed rooms with burnt plaster, filled with ash and burnt remains of roof beams. But during Phase 6 of this period, the settlement was reconstructed, although some houses which were destroyed were not rebuilt. This period, in Phases 7, 6, and 5, represented a time of significant development in both the size of the city and ceramic technology, as finer raw materials and advanced firing techniques used during this period resulted in ceramics with denser body paste and pottery that was similar to those found in Bampur 3-4, but most of the ceramics that were produced and or imported during this period were buff and grey wares with brown and black decorations. In Phases 4, 3, and 2 of Period 3, there was a change in the city with large buildings constructed with massive encircling walls. The pottery lost the painted ornamentation of Period 2 and became standardized, and burials showed socio-economic differences among the population. The goods previously imported from Mesopotamia and western Iran disappear at the end of Phase 4, but the contacts and trade with Mundagok, Bampur and the cities of Indus civilization continue. The Building 33, also belonging to Area 33 of shahre Sukhte, located between the central quarters and the monumental area, was radiocarbon dated by the team of Enrico Ascalone to 2600 to 2450 BC. On the other hand, archaeologists Jarej, Didier, and Quivrin considered that periods 1, 2, and 3 in shahre Sukhte have archaeological links with periods 3 and 4 in Mundagok. Pottery production during Period 3, in Phases 4 and 3, had forms and depicted motifs that differed significantly from those featured by ceramics of the former periods, and at the beginning of this period, simple decorative motifs originally found on ceramics became more elaborated and grey paste pottery with black decoration, similar to those found during Bampur 4 and Tepe Yahya 4, became more present, and small undecorated bowls with thin bodies also appeared at the end of this period. Abundant polychrome ceramics were found in graveyards, apparently used in religious rituals, and similar pottery was found at Nal in Balochistan, Pakistan, and based on this fact some scholars concluded that polychrome ceramics in shahre Sukhte were imported, but others such as Mugavero, 2008, suggested that this pottery is local. as production of this type can be found at Shahre Sokteh's nearby sites of Tepe and Tepe Radi Biaban, located 3 km and 30 km south of Shahre Sokteh respectively. In the next part, we will talk about the Persepolis,